Hello and welcome. Let me ask you something. When you're standing in the grocery store aisle, staring at that wall of cooking oils, does your head start to spin? One bottle says heart healthy, another one is all the rage on the internet, and your grandmother swore by a third. It's enough to make you want to give up and just use butter for everything, right? Well, you're not alone in that confusion. But what if I told you that the simple choice of which oil you pour into your skillet every day could be one of the most powerful decisions you make for your health after age 60? Consider this. According to the American Heart Association and data from global health studies, for folks between the ages of 60 and 79, the prevalence of cardiovascular disease is a staggering 75% to 77%. And for those over the of 80, it climbs to nearly 90%. That's not just a number. Many of us chalk this up to just getting older. But the science, from trusted institutions like the Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins, tells a different story. It tells us we have more control than we think. In the next 25 minutes, we're going to cut through all that noise. We'll reveal the top 5 healthiest oils that should be in every senior's kitchen. And just as importantly, the common culprits that might be secretly working against you. The core problem we're tackling today is that the world of dietary fats is a minefield of misinformation. Our ambitious goal is to give you a clear, science-backed, and practical guide to choosing and using cooking oils to actively protect your heart, sharpen your mind, and soothe your joints. We won't be relying on fads or internet hype. Our journey today is guided by research and recommendations from the most trusted names in American health: the American Heart Association, the Mayo Clinic, AARP's Health Division, and studies published in top-tier medical journals. To make this simple, we're going to break it down. First, we'll expose 2 common culprits that might be lurking in your pantry right now. Then, we'll count down our top 5 healthiest oils, from a great budget-friendly option all the way to the undisputed gold standard. For each one, we'll talk about why it's so good for you in plain English, share a quick story to make it memorable, and give you a simple action step to start using it today. And you'll definitely want to stick around for our number 1 oil. Recent studies have linked it not just to a lower risk of heart disease, but also to a lower risk of death from conditions like Alzheimer's disease. This is powerful stuff. Now, a quick but important reminder. I am a health writer, not a doctor. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice from your own physician. Always consult your healthcare provider for any questions about your personal health. All right, before we get to the good guys, let's talk about 2 oils that have been the subject of a lot of debate: coconut oil and palm oil. You've seen them everywhere, often marketed as natural or even healthy. But here's what the major health organizations want you to know. The main issue comes down to one thing: a very high concentration of saturated fat. Think of your arteries like highways. Saturated fat acts like a traffic jam, helping to build up bad LDL cholesterol, which can clog those highways and increase your risk for heart disease. Coconut oil is about 82 to 90% saturated fat. That's even higher than butter. Palm oil, which is found in countless processed foods from crackers to microwave popcorn, is also about 50% saturated fat, and studies confirm it raises that bad LDL cholesterol too. Now, you might have heard that coconut oil also raises your good HDL cholesterol, and that's true. Major scientific reviews confirm that coconut oil significantly increases both LDL and HDL cholesterol. But here's the insider secret doctors and heart specialists focus on. For protecting your heart after 60, lowering the bad LDL is what matters most. The primary established risk factor for heart disease is high LDL cholesterol. While coconut oil does raise HDL, the American Heart Association has pointed out that there are no definitive clinical trials showing that intentionally raising HDL with a specific food actually reduces your risk of heart attacks or strokes. Therefore, focusing on the proven negative, the LDL increase, is far more important than the speculative positive of the HDL increase. In fact, because of its potent effect on LDL, one review in a prominent cardiology journal called coconut oil one of the most deleterious cooking oils for cardiovascular risk. I think of my neighbor, Carol. She's a wonderful baker and got swept up in the coconut oil craze a few years ago. She started using it in her muffins and for frying, thinking it was a healthier choice because of all the hype. She was absolutely shocked when her doctor told her that her LDL cholesterol had crept up, despite her efforts to eat well. It was a perfect example of how clever marketing can sometimes lead us astray from the fundamental science that organizations like the American Heart Association have stood by for decades. Your action step here is to treat these tropical oils, coconut and palm oil, just like you would treat butter or lard. They are solid at room temperature for a reason. Use them sparingly, for flavor on a special occasion, not as your everyday cooking oil. And become a label detective. When you're buying processed foods like baked goods, crackers, or frozen meals, check the ingredient list for palm oil. Of course, high cholesterol itself usually has no symptoms, which is why it's often called a silent condition. This makes regular checkups and blood tests with your doctor critically important. However, if you have a family history of high cholesterol, or if you ever experience symptoms like chest pain, angina, shortness of breath, or unexplained cramping pain in your legs when you walk, it's absolutely crucial to talk to your doctor immediately. These can be signs that plaque has already started to build up in your arteries, and it's a clear signal to seek medical advice. So we've covered the solid facts. But what about that big generic jug of vegetable oil? That leads us directly to our second culprit. All right, let's talk about that ubiquitous, clear plastic bottle simply labeled vegetable oil. It seems harmless enough, right? After all, it's from vegetables. But this is one of the biggest areas of confusion in modern nutrition, and it's directly linked to a major problem for many seniors: chronic inflammation. Here's the simple science. Most generic vegetable oil is a blend of oils like soybean, corn, and cottonseed oil. These oils are extremely high in a type of polyunsaturated fat called omega-6 fatty acids. Now, your body absolutely needs some omega-6s to function, but it also needs another type of fat, omega-3 fatty acids, which are powerfully anti-inflammatory. Think of it like a seesaw. For optimal health, you want a healthy balance between omega-6 and omega-3, ideally somewhere around a 1-to-1 or maybe a 4-to-1 ratio. But the typical American diet, which is loaded with processed foods made with these inexpensive oils, has a ratio that's more like 16-to-1 or even 20-to-1. When that seesaw is tilted so heavily toward omega-6s, it promotes a state of low-grade chronic inflammation throughout your body. For seniors, this isn't just a theory. This is the smoldering fire that can fuel the joint pain from arthritis, damage the delicate lining of blood vessels, contributing to heart disease, and is even linked to a higher risk of cognitive decline. In fact, worldwide, it's estimated that 3 out of 5 people die from chronic inflammatory diseases like heart disease, stroke, cancer, and diabetes. My Uncle Frank used to fry everything in cheap vegetable oil. He'd say, "It's what we've always used. It's what my mother used." But he was also constantly complaining about his stiff, aching knees and how his arthritis seemed to get worse every year. It wasn't until his doctor explained the direct link between his diet, especially those inflammatory oils, and his joint pain, that he finally made a switch. It wasn't a magic cure overnight, but over a few months, he noticed a real, tangible difference in his daily comfort level. Your action step here is to be a label detective. Avoid those generic vegetable oil blends. Instead, choose oils with a specific name on the bottle, like the ones we're about to discuss. And just as importantly, try to reduce your intake of ultra-processed foods, things like commercial baked goods, fried fast foods, and many packaged snacks, as they are the single biggest source of these inflammatory oils in our diet. Now, chronic inflammation can be sneaky. It doesn't always shout. It often whispers. If you're experiencing persistent body aches, nagging joint pain, constant fatigue that sleep doesn't seem to fix, or ongoing digestive issues like constipation or diarrhea, these are not just normal signs of aging. They can be symptoms of underlying chronic inflammation, and it's absolutely worth a conversation with your doctor to investigate the cause. Okay, so we've cleared out the questionable characters from our pantry. Now, let's bring in the heroes. It's time to start our countdown of the top 5 healthiest cooking oils for anyone over 60. Coming in at number 5 is the reliable, budget-friendly workhorse of the healthy kitchen. Coming in at number 5 is canola oil. Now I know what some of you might be thinking, because canola oil sometimes gets lumped in with those other seed oils we just talked about. But major health authorities, like the American Heart Association and the Mayo Clinic, consistently recommend it for a reason, and it's important to understand why it's different. Here's why it makes our list. Canola oil has the lowest saturated fat content of any common cooking oil, only about 7%. This is a huge win for keeping that bad LDL cholesterol in check, which is a cornerstone of heart disease prevention. But what really sets it apart from generic vegetable oil is its much healthier fatty acid profile. It's very high in heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, at about 63%, and it contains a significant amount of plant-based omega-3s, known as alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. This makes it a much more balanced, less inflammatory choice than the omega-6 heavy corn or soybean oils. In fact, the evidence is strong enough that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has issued a qualified health claim for canola oil, stating that limited evidence suggests it may reduce the risk of coronary heart disease when used to replace saturated fat. My friend Betty is on a fixed income and was worried that eating healthy would be too expensive for her. She thought she was stuck with the cheap, inflammatory vegetable oil blends because that's what fit her budget. When I showed her that canola oil was not only affordable, but was also on the American Heart Association's list of heart-healthy oils, it was a game-changer for her. She now uses it for her light sautéing and baking, and she feels empowered knowing she's making a heart-smart choice without having to break the bank. Your action step here is to consider canola oil as your go-to for general, all-purpose cooking, especially when you need a neutral flavor that won't overpower your food. It has a medium-high smoke point of around 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes it great for sautéing, roasting, and even baking. If you can, look for bottles that are labeled as cold-pressed or non-GMO for an even better quality product. While canola oil is a great choice, remember that managing your heart health is a team effort with your doctor. A healthier diet can sometimes affect how certain medications work. So, if you're on any blood pressure or diabetes medications or blood thinners like warfarin, it's always wise to discuss any significant dietary changes with your healthcare provider to make sure everything stays in balance. So, canola oil is our versatile all-rounder. But what if we want an oil that's specifically targeted for brain health? That brings us to our number 4 pick, an oil that's best used as a finishing touch. At number 4, we have a specialty oil that is a true powerhouse for your brain, walnut oil. The star of the show here is, once again, omega-3 fatty acids, specifically the plant-based form called ALA. Walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of these essential fats. Why does this matter so much for your brain as you age? Well, your brain is about 60% fat, and it requires a constant supply of healthy fats, especially omega-3s, to function properly. These fats are critical building blocks for maintaining the health and flexibility of your brain cells, which is essential for memory, focus, and overall cognitive function. I remember reading about a fascinating study where researchers looked at the diets of older adults who stayed mentally sharp well into their 80s and 90s. A common thread among these sharp-minded seniors was a diet rich in things like nuts and healthy oils. I shared this with my book club, and now my friend Joan drizzles a little walnut oil on her salad every single day. She jokes and calls it her brain food, but she says it makes her feel proactive, like she's taking a concrete step to stay sharp for our weekly discussions. Now, this part is key. Walnut oil is delicate. It has a low smoke point, around 320 degrees Fahrenheit, so you do not want to cook with it. Heating it can destroy its beneficial fats and create a bitter, unpleasant taste. Your action step is to use it exclusively as a finishing oil. Drizzle it over a finished salad, steamed vegetables, or a bowl of soup right before you serve it. It has a rich, nutty flavor that is absolutely delicious. Because it's so delicate, it's best to buy it in a small bottle and store it in the refrigerator to keep it from going rancid. Stored properly in the fridge, it should last for about 3 months. If you have a nut allergy, walnut oil is obviously off the table. And because of its high concentration of omega-3s, which can have a mild blunt thinning effect. If you are taking a prescription blunt thinner like warfarin, it's a good idea to let your doctor know you're adding a concentrated source of omega-3s to your diet, just to be on the safe side. Walnut oil gives us a fantastic, flavorful dose of brain-healthy omega-3s. But what if you want the absolute most concentrated plant-based source of those same omega-3s? That takes us to number 3. Our number 3 healthiest oil is the undisputed champion of plant-based omega-3s, flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil is absolutely packed with alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, that powerful anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acid we've been talking about. In fact, just 1 single tablespoon of flaxseed oil can meet or even exceed your entire daily requirement. These omega-3s are essential to health, with benefits that have been demonstrated in numerous studies, including reducing inflammation, improving heart health by helping to lower blood pressure and cholesterol, and protecting the brain against the effects of aging. Think of it this way. If chronic inflammation is like a small fire smoldering in your body, the omega-3s and flaxseed oil are like the fire department showing up to put it out. This is especially important for helping to soothe inflammatory conditions like arthritis and for protecting your entire cardiovascular system from the damage that inflammation can cause over time. Just like walnut oil, flaxseed oil is extremely sensitive to heat and light. It has a very low smoke point, around 225 degrees Fahrenheit, and should never be used for cooking. Heating it will destroy its potent benefits. Your action step is to use it exclusively in cold applications. The easiest way is to blend a tablespoon into a smoothie, or stir it into a bowl of oatmeal or yogurt after it's cooked. It's also wonderful in salad dressings. To get the best quality, always buy cold-pressed flaxseed oil. Look for it in an opaque, dark bottle in the refrigerated section of the grocery store, and be sure to keep it in your fridge at home to protect its powerful compounds. Once again, because it's so potent in omega-3s, If you're on blood thinners or blood pressure medication, a quick chat with your doctor is a smart move before adding it to your daily routine. It can also interact with some diabetes medications, so keeping your healthcare team in the loop is always the best policy. Flaxseed oil is our uncooked superstar for fighting inflammation. But for our top two, we're getting back to oils you can actually cook with. Oils that are versatile, powerful, and should be staples in your kitchen. Are you ready for the top two? Then, we kicked off our top five with number five, the versatile and budget-friendly canola oil. At number four, we had the brain-boosting walnut oil for finishing dishes. And at number three, the ultimate uncooked source of omega-3s, flaxseed oil. The big theme so far is choosing fats that fight inflammation and protect your heart. Now, we're heading into the top two. These are the real game changers that researchers and heart health experts talk about the most. And by the way, if you're finding this deep dive helpful and are learning something new, do me a quick favor and tap that like button below. It really helps our channel reach and empower more people just like you. Thank you for that. Now, let's get to our number two pick. Coming in at a very strong number two is avocado oil. If our number one pick is the king of everyday cooking, then avocado oil is the undisputed hero of high-heat cooking. Avocado oil's biggest claim to fame is its incredibly high smoke point. A refined avocado oil can have a smoke point of over 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and even unrefined virgin versions are around 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is absolutely crucial for healthy cooking. When any oil is heated past its smoke point, it starts to break down chemically, losing its nutrients and creating harmful inflammatory compounds called free radicals. Avocado oil's incredible stability means you can safely use it for roasting vegetables at high temperatures, pan-searing fish to get a perfect crust, or making a healthy stir-fry without a worry. But it's not just about the heat. Nutritionally, avocado oil is a true star. It's packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, specifically oleic acid, which is the same beneficial fat that makes olive oil so famous. This type of fat is known to help lower bad LDL cholesterol and reduce inflammation throughout the body. On top of that, it's a good source of antioxidants like vitamin E, and it contains lutein, an antioxidant that is particularly important for protecting your eye health. I have a friend, George, who absolutely loves to cook. He roasts vegetables in the oven almost every single night. For years, he was using an oil that would start smoking halfway through, often setting off his smoke alarm and giving the food a slightly burnt, acrid taste. He just thought that was a normal part of high-heat cooking. When he finally switched to avocado oil, he told me it was a complete revelation. No more smoke, a clean, mild flavor that let the vegetables shine, and he was thrilled to learn he was also doing his heart a favor. It completely changed his cooking experience for the better. Your action step is to make avocado oil your go-to choice for any cooking that requires medium-high to high heat. Use it for roasting, grilling, and stir-frying. Because of its mild, almost buttery flavor, it's also incredibly versatile and can be used for salad dressings or even in baking. It is a true kitchen all-star. Avocado oil is generally very safe for almost everyone. The main consideration would be for anyone on blood thinners, as vitamin E can have a mild blood-thinning effect. As always, a simple mention to your doctor during your next visit is all that's needed to ensure it's a perfect fit for your personal health plan. Avocado oil has secured its place as our high-heat champion. But now, it's time for the number one, the oil that is the cornerstone of the healthiest, most studied diet on the planet. The oil that science has linked to a longer, healthier life. You've been waiting for it. Here is our #1 healthiest cooking oil for seniors. And here it is. Our #1 healthiest oil, without a single doubt, is extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO. EVOO is the undisputed gold standard for a reason. It is the hallmark of the Mediterranean diet, a way of eating that has been consistently proven in countless studies to protect against chronic disease and promote longevity. It is loaded with powerful monounsaturated fats that are proven to lower bad LDL cholesterol, which directly reduces your risk of heart disease. But the real magic of extra virgin olive oil isn't just the healthy fat. It's packed with powerful antioxidants called polyphenols. Think of these compounds as your body's personal security guards, patrolling your system and fighting off the cellular damage and inflammation that can lead to disease as we age. One of these special compounds, called oleocanthal, has even been shown to have anti-inflammatory effects that work in a similar way to ibuprofen, helping to calm inflammation in the body. This is why choosing extra virgin is so absolutely critical. The refining process that creates light or regular pure olive oil strips away most of these precious, disease-fighting polyphenol compounds. The evidence for EVOO's benefits is nothing short of stunning. A major long-term study out of Harvard, published in the prestigious Journal of the American College of Cardiology, followed people for decades. The results were incredible. Those who consumed more than half a tablespoon of olive oil a day had a significantly lower risk of premature death from cardiovascular disease, from cancer, and even from neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. When I think about that, I think of the vibrant, long-lived people in the Mediterranean regions of Greece and Italy. This isn't a fad. Your action step is to make high-quality EVOO your primary everyday oil. Use it for making salad dressings, for drizzling on finished vegetables, and for your daily low to medium heat sautéing. And please, don't be afraid to cook with it. There's a persistent myth that you can't heat EVOO, and it's just not true. A good quality extra virgin olive oil has a smoke point of around 410 degrees Fahrenheit, which is much higher than most people think, and is perfectly safe for the vast majority of home cooking. To get the best, most potent oil, look for one that comes in a dark glass bottle or a metal tin to protect it from damaging light, and check the label for a harvest date to ensure you're getting a fresh product. EVOO is incredibly safe and beneficial. The only major consideration is that, like all fats, it is calorie-dense. If you are managing your weight, be mindful of your portion sizes. The goal is to aim for about 1 to 2 tablespoons a day in place of other less healthy fats like butter or margarine, not in addition to them. So there you have it, your new all-star lineup for a healthy kitchen. Let's quickly wrap up and put this all into a simple plan. So as we've journeyed through the world of cooking oils today, what's the big picture? It's that taking charge of your health isn't about one magic pill or a single drastic change. It's about the small, intelligent choices you make every single day. It's about understanding that the bottle you reach for when you make your morning eggs or dress your evening salad has a real, measurable impact on your heart, your brain, and your joints. Your new kitchen toolkit is simple. Use extra virgin olive oil for your everyday low and medium heat cooking and dressings. Use avocado oil when you need to turn up the heat for roasting or searing. And keep a bottle of flaxseed or walnut oil in the fridge for a powerful, uncooked boost of omega-3s in your smoothies and salads. By making these simple swaps, you are actively building a diet that fights inflammation and protects your most vital organs. If you found this deep dive valuable and want more science-backed, practical advice to help you live your healthiest, most vibrant life after 60, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the little notification bell so you never miss a video.